Hello and welcome to Cooking with James, and today I'm going to attempt to make a spectacular spaghetti bolognese. So I started trying to make spaghetti bolognese pretty much 2 years ago exactly, 2 years ago yesterday, with a my own bolognese sauce, as in rather than just using a jar of sauce and then cooking the spaghetti, I've been trying to make my own bolognese, and I keep trying to improve on it. So today I'm going to try and make it the best I can and see how it get on. So let's see how it all unfolds. So we have the standard first step, which as we all know by now, is to add the oil. So splash. There. We'll leave that to heat up for a few moments. Just swirl it around the pan as normal. There we go. So we'll leave that to heat up. So it's now time to pop in the vegetables. So we have firstly a bit of mushroom, which is nicely sizzling over there. And add a little bit more in the mix. And we also have a bit of pepper. It's in a nice big lump right now, but that can of course be will eventually separate itself out when it starts to cook. We've got mushrooms and pepper, and we have some onion, which I'll just tip in, make that easier. From the onion in. Ooh. A little bit more. Put onion there. And finally, we have a nice big lot of carrots. And that should make it a nice and bulky lot of vegetables. We've got onions, carrots and pepper, and also just need to grab some garlic very quickly. Now, my preferred choice of recipe, it tells you to cook the vegetables on a low heat for 10 minutes rather than sort of on a high heat for a less time. So turn it down to number 2, and we're just going to sort of stir the veg around a bit, and in about 10 minutes that should all then be cooked. There'll be time to add in the meat. So now it's time to add the meat. We'll give it a bit more of a stir. Add the meat, and here it is, ready to go in. There's a nice little lump of meat, mince rather, meaty mince, mincy meat. And once I've just brit up a bit, that should take about 10 minutes or so to cook. I've put the heat up a little bit more to number 5 now for the meat to get itself going. It should take not much more than about 10 minutes or so. While I'm doing that, I'm just chopping some tomatoes too to add to the sort of sauce as well. There we go. Okay, so the meat is now cooked. It's now time to add the sauce ingredients. Now I'm going to resign myself here to having a messy cooker after this is finished. I bet tomato sauce is going to go splash everywhere at some point, so I sort of resign myself to that. So here goes. Here's the passata then. And turn it round. More purchase on it. Is the first part of the passata, and then we have the second. Use it nicely as well. Oh. There. And then any more left in there? I think there is. Tiny bit. Okay. Then I'm going to put in the tomatoes. So I've got tomatoes all chopped up here. It said in the recipe 6 cherry tomato. I think it's best for what size. I brought little ones, so I decided to use 12 chopped in half. So it was 6 chopped in half on the recipe. Yeah, 6 tomato chopped in half on the recipe. Because mine is smaller, I decided to use 12. Because, you know, better to have more than to have less. So popping tomatoes in here as well. And that's 24 half tomatoes basically going to go in here. And we also have some mixed herbs to add in, as usual. There. And as always, the standard trusty paprika. That can go in. Definitely has now. Okay, probably put too much in the accident, but there's some paprika in there now. And then also got oregano. So add in 2. There we go. And then I just need to open up the rest of the sauce as well. 1 second. So we then add in some, of course, tamarind vinegar. And some Worcestershire sauce. And to complete it all, some red wine. Now, the recipe asks for 125 millilitres. This is 187, I think, it's like a mini bottle. So I thought what I would do, rather than just waste, well, 6 centilitres of wine, 6 millilitres of wine rather, 6 millilitres, not centilitres, of course, I will simply use a whole bottle. And again, better more than less. So here is some wine. And yeah, that's a very full pan now, actually. So that may just overspill a little bit, but we'll deal with that later. And finally, we'll also have some stock. So what I'm going to do now is wait for that to come to the boil. And I will keep stirring it. And you then leave it for an hour and a half. And then the sauce should be ready. So I'll stir it all in, of course. I'll do that now, actually. So I'll stir it all in. Because you can see it's all sort of just bunched together right now. So I'll just give it a quick stir. It might get a little bit messy, but that's okay. It can all be dealt with in time. And then we will have, in time, a lovely, thick and nice bolognese. And of course, important to keep stirring the bolognese sauce every so often. And while I'm just waiting for that to do its stuff, I put use to the scales and measured out 300 grams of spaghetti, usually 75 grams per person, 4 portions, so 75 times 4 is of course 300, so 300 grams spaghetti for this spaghetti bolognese. Can't say the word very well, spaghetti bolognese, there we are. It's still simmering along nicely. What I'm going to do now is just add in a little bit of parmesan to the bolognese while it's almost done. And then I will stir that all in, which will give it a nice little bit of cheesiness to go along with it as well. A lovely, slightly cheesy sauce now as well, with a bit of parmesan in there. You can see it's done it with a little bit actually. It's just sort of stopped simmering a little bit, so I'll just have a little bit more maybe, just for a little bit at least. It's looking very good. So here's the sauce coming along still nicely. And then the pasta is now cooking. So just waiting for that sort of come back to the boil after I put the pasta in. So that will come back to the boil shortly. And I've popped some salt and pepper in the pasta water as well to just flavour up a bit. So what I've decided to do at the moment is, because the water seemed to be taking a little while to boil over with the pasta in it, it was boiling when I put the pasta in there, it seemed to have stopped with the pasta. So what I've done is boiled a kettle, and because the water was looking a bit shallow as well, I thought I'd put a bit more water in there from the kettle, which I've just boiled, just to sort of add to the recipe. Add to the pasta, sorry. I don't know if that's going to do them any good, whether that's the completely wrong thing to do, but I'll give it a go. And so I'll just keep giving the pasta a stir too. Just added some heat to the water, that's all. It is cooking, it is, you can see it is, you know, softening up and everything. It's just, usually the water goes right to the boil, which is weird. It's on the highest heat, but I've popped some more in from the kettle as well, so that should help. What I thought I'd do is switch the pans around, so the one with the sauce in is going on to the one where the pasta was, because that's pretty much done, that's just simmering, so that's okay. And I've just put the pasta onto the one with the sauces on, because that hob seems to be a bit better at cooking things, so I'm going to pop that in there, just to give it a bit more, you know, a bit more boiling time, basically. Just on there. See, that's how it's meant to look, just bubbling over like that, so I'll now turn it down a bit. To leave the simmer, and I think it's pretty much done now anyway. I think it cooked it rather slowly, but it's all pretty much done. I'll give it a few more minutes probably, and then we're pretty much ready. And there's completed bolognese, and the completed spaghetti.